And they came in and said, we love this movie. We think it's such an important movie to make right now. We think it's important for not just the movie going audience, just that message needs to get out there. I was directing the last few episodes of season 6 of House of Cards. And Alan Stewart, the producer of the movie, she found this script in a contest. And I think it's a part of the Oscars umbrella. And he was one of 5 out of 5,000 scripts that got chosen. And she told me that in an email, and she said, I want to come out to Baltimore and see you on a Sunday. Can you have lunch, blah, blah. And it was during the time when the random shootings were going on, not only every 2 months, they started to become bi-weekly. And they were becoming the norm for us. Oh, did you hear about that one? Did you hear about that? Like it was everyday news, just as every other day news. And I read that script that at the time was called I-Land, with a capital I, 2 words. And I said, this movie is about exactly what these people are dealing with, loss and grief, and how do individuals deal with it? They all deal with it in a singular way. And I said, this movie needs to be made. Just to show, I'm not claiming to know everyone's pain and how they deal, or claiming to know that I'm the expert on healing, but this is one person's journey after experiencing a life-altering event. We went to Cannes and did the 3-day nonstop meetings, right? Where everybody comes into your room every 10 minutes and you pitch your movie, and no one was biting. Right. They're like, oh. And they said, who are you planning to cast in the movie? You know, you are given a list of maybe 4 actresses that would finance the film. And we had this very tight window in which to make the movie with Focus Features, because they were the last meeting we had, and they came in and said, we love this movie. We think it's such an important movie to make right now. We think it's important for not just the movie going audience, just that message needs to get out there. We were so excited. Then we had to start shooting immediately because we knew we had to shoot in Canada, and we knew the winter was going to come soon. So we needed to get 4 seasons over the course of 2.5 years in 29 days.
So all of those seasons and all of the expanse of the movie was all shot within a 29-day period?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So we didn't really have time to wait and potentially be up against, scheduling complications, because the actress that we wanted to cast was on another show or a movie and we had to push our dates. We didn't have any room to do that. And it was getting down to the wire. And Alan Stewart, our producer, I would act out the scenes every meeting that we had. Of course, that's what you do when you're an actor. And we'd talk about a scene and I'd act Edie. And finally, after 3 months or so, she just said, Robin, why don't you just do it? I said, I don't want to act. I just want to direct this movie, and I just want to. And finally, we didn't have a choice. And I was like, well, I'm going to be there anyway. So. I received this love letter via email from Bobby. It was like 4 pages long about what this movie was about. And he sent me scenes of other movies, like descriptive writing about, remember the scene in this movie? That's what I think this scene should look like. This is what I think these Vista shots should look like. He didn't talk lens numbers, because I was like, I'm not that educated on lenses enough, but I know what I like. So we had the same sensibility of what movies are influencing us for the look of the film, because it needs to look different in the beginning than it does at the end. Nature has to look different in the beginning. She doesn't see nature. She doesn't see the majestic beauty it is when she first gets to the mountain. She's just on a mission to survive. And then after Miguel comes into her life, you start to feel that she's at one with nature. And so Bobby and I talked a great deal about how do we do that? How are we transitioning? Yes, we're going to do a lot of it in color grade, which we did in post-production, making nature pop halfway to the end of the movie, and kind of just making it more muted in the beginning and making the sounds of nature really grating and loud in the beginning. And then everything just kind of balances out. The producer has the director's back. And boy, did Alan Stewart and Leah Holzer have my back, and Peter Seraff. I could not have done it without them. You do not ever direct a movie on your own. Everybody is an architect of that building. Everyone. And knowing that you've got a producer who, yes, make sure they have the same vision that you have for the movie. We also butted up against each other sometimes, Alan and I, where I was like, I respect your opinion, but I totally disagree. I don't think we should see the shooting in the movie, ever. Don't see it. We've seen that movie before. And this was way in the beginning when we were talking about what's the script going to be. And she said, I'm going to defer to you, but God, I disagree with you. And we would go through vice versa, her to me, and then I would end up seeing her side in the end. But I think the greatest quality that she has, she never gives up. She always finds a solution. And I would get frustrated because I was so exhausted and so, behind the camera, in front of the camera, and the weather and the thing. And then, we lost a half a day because of weather. And I'm never going to retrieve that day. That piece can never be in the movie. So there were many days like that. There's many pieces that never got into my movie that I wanted so badly because we just didn't have the time or the money. And that's when she would sit me down at night and she'd say, you have 5 priorities here on your list. You have to get these scenes before the 29 days are up. You can have 2. Pick your 2 priorities that you cannot live without. I said, okay, I need Bobby to get a time lapse shot and, set his camera up at 2 in the morning and do a time lapse shot until the sunrise. She goes, done. I will make sure we do it. And he will get paid the overtime for waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So those are the juggling acts that you do when you're on a low budget movie and you've got a great producer that is going to get you everything she possibly can, or he. That therapy scene was added after we edited the movie. The original script opened with, life in Chicago with her family. Mm-hmm. And she is a very alpha lawyer in Chicago and doesn't really have time for her family. It's all about work, 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 work. And it's Christmas Eve. And she's running late to meet her husband and her child at the mall so that they can go see the Nutcracker. And she's running in there late. And that's when the suicide bomber lets the backpack go. So that's how long ago this script was written. It was when that was going on in the world frequently. But I love that opening scene. I like the words in it because they are very true. Especially when I was speaking to these therapists who deal with PTSD and trauma, and that is what it feels like. People just want you to get better, and that is a pressure that's hard to endure when you're going through grief.